All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're just going to be checking out some of my games on the sim. This is me playing Blue Yellow Queen, and I'm just kind of going to talk over the game. And I got it sped up to 2x speed like usual. I'm going to be going over 3 different games. And guys, this was one of my favorite leaders, I have to say. Like in OP04, I did very well with this leader locally, and I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the play style. Something about the gaining life in this game is something I really like. I really enjoy that. I think that's why I like Black Yellow Linlin so much, and that's why I obviously like Blue Yellow Queen so much as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into it. And maybe while we're talking about this, y'all tell me what y'all think. Why is Queen not being used as much in OP05? Does it just get, bodied by some of these other stronger decks like NL or Sakazuki or Purple Luffy? Because I have not done any testing with it. All right, so y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. So back to the game. So I attack with Boa Hancock into the baby 5 because otherwise she can just use the Monet Searcher can just try to get it all, excuse me. Monet taps down when she blocks a 3-cost or less, or it might be a 4-cost, but I think it's a 3-cost or less. Looking back, I probably should have just Gadatsu'd it, and then he wouldn't be able to extract my Boa, and he wouldn't have gained a life either from me attacking, a bunch of things there. And the whole reason I run Gadatsu is because I don't attack very much with Queen. I play a very defensive style. But I will say, I think you could probably try, it's something I haven't tried yet, but you could probably try a Sky Island version of the deck through Queen with just the blue removal, Mihawk, and the blue blockers, that top 3 search. So, okay. So swinging 7 at lead here. Oh, and speaking of different kinds of decks, I will post the deck list in the comment section below. So for anyone who's interested in that. So looking at my hand right now, I've got 2 2K counters in hand with Satori and Beige, two big-time removals in Red Rock. I got a Mihawk and a Yamato for utility and life gain and removal. So I'm feeling pretty good in this situation, especially against a Rosinante. Rosinante's not exactly the fastest deck out there, but, you guys see what's going on here. Okay, so I get a Gum Gum Rain here, which can bounce a 2-cost or less back to its owner's hand. So very solid. I just get the blocker out of the way because he did have 3 or more characters down. So if he blocked, he would have drawn a card. So here I'm just kind of looking at maybe getting a card out of hand, and I do. Let me attack here, either get a life or get another card out of hand. I get a card out of hand, and it's like, okay, well, the whole plan was just going to be to smash the sugar there so that she couldn't tap down my bigger characters. Works out, and he drops a 10-cost. 10-cost Doflamingo. I counter out of the 6K attack. And then I'll take the 5K to life, I think. Or actually, excuse me, I don't because I have way too many cards in hand. I have way too many cards in hand to do that comfortably. Now, had I remembered I was going to draw Yamato, probably should have, looking back. It might have been the better call. Save the 2Ks. I don't know. It's hard to say. Because this turn, I definitely want to Red Rock, right? I want this Doflamingo off the board. I still want full board control, and I want to just be able to bully this game. Now, unfortunately, he does still have the Baby 5 Searcher. That thing has generated so much card value for this guy this turn. But it is what it is. Sometimes with Rosinante, they can just protect it between the leader block, between the Rosinante character protection, and just the lockdown mechanics of it, all the blockers. There's just so much going on there to protect it. So he's going to swing 8, and unfortunately I can't save my Gadatsu. I absolutely would save him here if I could, just to dump cards out of hand. And I even considered just using the Satori just to get a card out of my hand so I could start generating value with my leader's effect. But it wasn't quite the right call. All right. So we're just going to probably play out the Mihawk here and just get rid of something. I'd rather save my Yamato for a double life gain turn, right? I'd rather save Yamato for a turn where I can gain life, like per her effect when I'm at 1 life or less, and then with my leader effect, if I have 4 cards in my life plus hand combined. So for those who don't know, that's something I should mention. Okay, Red Rock's my my Mihawk. That's unfortunate. Plays out Rosinante, and that's pretty much his whole turn. He got a lot done there. 2K to get a card out of hand. So let me explain the leader effect while this is going on. For those who don't already know, Queen, their effect, I'm probably going to butcher it, but they have a Dawn ×1 when attacking, right? So attach 1 Dawn and attack. If you have 4 or less cards in your life and hand combined, you get to draw a card. And then, if you have a character that costs 8 or more in play, instead of drawing the card, you can gain the life, which is just huge, right? That's what gives this character its legs, right? So that it can make it further into the game. Okay, so sorry I kind of missed that whole turn there, but y'all saw what happened. Eustace Kid coming down. This is not even an issue for me because I have Red Rock. Part of me wanted to just maybe swing 10 into the Kid, but because he can block with leader and all that, it's like, no, I just have to get it off the board. But if I follow up with a Doflamingo, I should be able to gain a life from my leader's effect, right? So let's see what happens. So Red Rock here is going to be hitting Eustace Kid. Play out the Doflamingo and set my life card. This is what makes Queen so strong. I'm going to set that top card for what's going into my life. The second card I'm going to draw for next turn. The third card's going in my life. The fourth for draw the following turn. And the fifth one's going to go into my life. You see how you stagger it like that? And see, look. So now I know what my top card is. I have a Sobbles on top of my life. Y'all know. For those who don't know what that card is, because that's from all the way in OP01, I believe. Sobbles, or it might even be from a starter deck. I can't remember. Sobbles is a 4-cost, bounce a 7 or less to its owner's hand. Not to bottom deck, but back to the owner's hand. And the trigger effect is the same exact thing. All right, so he just had a huge turn, played out a bunch of characters, knocks down my Soga King. That's unfortunate. And in this situation, I can't gain a life because I just can't play enough cards out. So I'm like, okay, well, then I need to establish my Mihawk here and just, or even just try to KO something with, okay, I've got a lot of thoughts going in my head right now. Part of me wants to Yamato here so that I can save my Mihawk for a bigger turn, right? So see, okay, I'll KO that guy there so he can't, generate any card draw later. And now I'm just going to attack. So swing 5 because Monet can tap down my 3 costs or less. So I swing 5 with him. Swing 5 at face. Swing 9 at face. He has to block it because there's no way he can counter out of it. So unless he had all 2Ks, I think. So he's going to swing 5 at life. I know it is there. Sobbles, bounce your guy back. The game's over right there. Right? The game basically is over as soon as I did that. And then remember, I already knew this card was coming. And then, okay, you guys see what happened from there. Because I didn't get to draw a card, let me pause it real quick. Whoops, I just hit play again. But because I couldn't draw that card was going to go into my life, but I couldn't gain a life that following turn. Okay, next game, Bello Betty versus Queen. And I will say, guys, this is it's a scary start, but if you get an early Gadatsu, and if you're not afraid to use your Thunderbolts early, this is not that bad of a matchup. Not like I thought it was going to be. I thought this matchup was going to be actually impossible. So I do early 1K counter out here because the way you play Queen, guys, is you want to dump as many cards from your hand as possible. And that's and from your life, too, by the way, in this case with... unfortunately, I got a Mihawk with that Thunderbolt. But Thunderbolt's really nice later in the game because you KO one of their characters, you get a card out of your hand, and you trash card from the top of your life. And that's, that can actually help you get down to where you need it to gain life again. Okay. But sometimes it might have some negative synergy, of course. So notice I Red Rocked right on turn 3, because I don't need it later in the game. Bello Betty doesn't have any 10-cost characters that I'm aware of, right? So I adjust my life accordingly. Play out a 3-cost blocker, play out a 4-cost blocker. They tried to get smart here by not playing anything, so I couldn't remove it, and that is a good idea, but I don't really care, right? Like hey, if you want to slow down, by all means do that. But I would have removed something with Sobbles, obviously, if I had to. Like right here, I'm more than likely going to bounce this with Sobbles and just keep playing out more stuff, because he thinks he's getting high value, and he is. He's getting a very high amount of value from his cards, but he's allowing me to set up for late game where I'm going to generate infinite value. Hopefully that made sense to anyone listening. And if you ever have any comments, or questions, please by all means put them in the comment section below. Okay, so he plays out the Sabo again to get rid of my other Doflamingo, but he's already done his job. He set my life cards. It's a card out of my hand, so we're good now. Okay, so he's going to swing this. I'm pretty sure I have to either counter out or, I do an over counter by 8K, by 3K, so that I can KO his Sabo and still gain life for the turn while not gaining life from Yamato, unfortunately. So you see how I had to do that because he was a 6-cost character. It was tricky, but I needed to do it that way to ensure myself the highest chance of success going into the game. So he has basically no way to remove my big characters. I think they might have a few, I'm not sure. But my Yamato is stronger now. Okay, get a Sobbles off the top, bounce your 3-cost guy back to your hand. The Morley. That Morley card is so annoying because he gets around blockers. I really wanted to play that Sanji, but I just couldn't. Obviously, it just wouldn't have made sense. But here's the turn, guys. This is the dream turn. KO your guy, gain life for Yamato, swing on my leader, gain a life, KO that guy. Absolutely, that was the absolute dream turn right there. Okay, and he does save it, so I'm like, well, okay, fine. That way I don't have to attack your life? Sure. That was not the right call to save it. I have to say that right now. I understand he was trying to generate tempo and momentum, but that was not the right call. He gave up too much for that. Now, unfortunately, he does get this character here. I forgot. In the game, I forgot Morley cannot be blocked when he has his power over 7,000 or 7,000 or more. But I'm like, okay, I'll take this, no problem. Okay, so I'm in good shape here. I'll probably just go double 3 drops here to go to, for 6 costs, and I still have 4 to play with. I was gonna ship this hand back, but then I was like, you know what? That's a lot of annoying cards. That's 3 blockers, a 2K, and removal. So I was like, I'll actually keep it on top. The reason I was gonna ship it back is because if something happens to my Yamato, then I can no longer gain life. Right? But I'm like, okay, now I'm safe because Morley doesn't have rush. Now my Yamato is safe. There's no way he's taking this out when I have 3 blockers down. Okay. So let's see what happens. And he just gives up here. And that's understandable. So it looks like he had a Karasu in there in his life, a Sanji, and Emporio Ivankov. I had a Brule, Boa Hancock, and a Yamato. Okay. So now let's go on to the 3rd game. Oh, man. These are so fun to do, guys. I really do enjoy these. It's like a nice break from my normal content because a lot of my content can come across as like, just almost like school, right? I guess, man, it's because I'm, being a teacher, it just rubs off like in the way that I talk and stuff. It just kind of becomes a part of you. Okay, nice. So he attacks me here for 8. Bust out the Sanji, trashing my Thunderbolt. I don't need that right now. And set my life with Doflamingo here, and we're off to the races. I'm off to a very good start. I'm not going to give him any life right now or any cards from his life. Swing 5, sure. You can have my Doflamingo. And here's where Gadatsu is just so gross. Against 5 life leaders, he just took out a 5 cost. That was so massive. A 5 cost that takes out a 5 cost, and he's a 6K with a 1K counter. The card's just outstanding if you can line it up like that. Okay, so it looks like he's going to swing for 8 here. Leaves 1 Dawn active. Not sure what's going on there. He must just be playing really defensive, or maybe he's playing tricks on me. You never know. And guys, this was a scary match. I'm not gonna lie. You'll see as the game goes on. Kaido has a lot of tools right now at his disposal that make him very strong. So 5 cost Kid, right? 7 cost Kid, 9 cost Kaido, 10 cost Kaido, and 10 cost Purple Luffy. Guys, that's dangerous, right? Like that's a lot to deal with. Excuse me. And I think once, I gotta do a little spoiler here, guys. If you don't want to hear a spoiler, skip forward like 30 seconds. There's a card coming out called Ragnarok. It is a purple 5 cost event that can KO, I think, an 8 or less. And all you have to do is pay 5 and return 1 Dawn. Maybe it's 2 Dawn, but either way, guys, that's gonna be so crazy in the purple decks. It's gonna be so insane. I'll probably have an entire video on that soon, talking about removal, but not for this video. Okay. Swinging at Sanji, I'm not worried about Sanji, and I don't need to dump too many cards from my hand just yet because I have a lot of cards I can play here. Sobbles, 4 costs, get that guy out of here. I bounce back the 7 cost Kid. I love Sobbles, guys. I know most people run 3,000 worlds there, and I do understand that, especially if you're going into a tournament where you plan on seeing a lot of Whitebeards. Absolutely. But even against Whitebeard, guys, you can bounce back Ace if you need to basically time warp, if needed for 4. So set my top cards here. I'm like, okay, let me get it staggered. Okay, so we're good. Sometimes it doesn't always work out with the way you place your cards from Doflamingo with your leader effect, because sometimes you can't always gain a life, or maybe you have to draw a card. I don't know. It all depends. So he drops 10 cost Kaido and trashes my whole board here. I'm like, okay, I was expecting it. I did expect that. I was saving the Red Rock for it. I knew that was coming. Red Rock, I got it. What's it called? Sanji, and let's go. Okay, so now he plays out Eustace Kid here, 7 cost Kid again. But I've got a real answer for him this time, right? So I don't need to take life here because I'd rather go up to 3 life next turn, right? That's my logic there. I could have let it go, but then I would have drawn a card from letting it go, and it would have done a lot of problems. It would have caused a lot of problems for my life gain. Okay, so y'all saw what happened there, right? I went down to 2 life, or I was down to 2 life, but I went down to 2 cards. So that's 4 altogether. I can now use my leader's effect to gain a life. So I went up a life that turn, got rid of his 7 costs, established a 9 cost 9k, dealt damage to him. I'm feeling good, right? He's down to 5 cards. It's been a rough game. But I know, okay, and there's his second Eustace Captain Kidd, the 7 cost. I've already dealt with one of these. It's getting a little bit ugly at this point, right? Where it's like, oh crap, you know, I should have probably tried to counter out of that, guys, just to lower cards in hand. But, you know, it is what it is. So I swing 9 here. In my mind, I'm thinking this. Believe it or not, guys, I actually think I'm going to lose the game next turn. That's what I feel right now. Because he's going to be at 10 Dawn, right? He's at 4, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he'll be at 10 Dawn. I am actually concerned that I'm going to lose the game next turn. And hear me out. I don't know what my last 2 life cards are. But if he goes, you know, let's see. He would have to do it in a weird way. He'd have to play the 10 cost Kaido, or the 9 cost, excuse me. Play 9 cost Kaido. He has 1 Dawn left, right? Swing with Kid for 8 to give his leader +1. Swing for 7 with his leader, and then swing for 9 or 10 with his Kaido, and I'm dead, right? But I don't know what my top life card is, of course. Okay? And I think we are going to see it this game, but still, that's what's going through my head right now. That's why I swung completely to the walls there, like just went all out. Okay, right now I'm counting my graveyard, like, okay, do I have anything that can be in my triggers, like in my life for these last 2 cards? I'm like, dude, there's got to be evasion there. There's got to be a blocker in there, at least for one of them, and I'll be okay. As long as just one of them's in there, I'll be okay. But he has this in-between turn, and look at what he trashes from his hand. I was so confused when I saw this. I'm like, you have lethal on the board if I don't hit a trigger, right? But in his mind, he's playing correctly. If I hit a trigger, he loses the game, right? And that's the logic there. So that made a lot of sense to me. Okay, so right here is just a good time to try to clean up the board. Now, unfortunately, my opponent did miscalculate here. He should have swung for 10 at Mihawk, and then he could have swung for 9 at Mihawk. See how he would have only been at 8? And look what was on the top of my life, guys. It was a beige. So he would not have been able to swing for lethal last turn like I thought, but that was kind of more of a luck thing. But he played around it very, very smart. But here's the problem. I'm just going to remove this queen off the board, and I'm swinging for, what will that be? There will be 8. So I'm swinging for 17 at face. I'm like, okay, I can try to have this game go on longer, but no, I need to try to end this right here, right now, because I have no life. I can only generate 1 life this turn because of how many cards I had in my hand. So, okay, here we go. And look at that, guys. Let me pause it. He had a 10 cost Kaido in hand, a 10 cost Luffy. If I had not won the game right there, I think I probably would have lost. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that's about it. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about all the games. You know, was there any play mistakes I had? I'm not perfect, guys. I do make play mistakes. Would you have done something differently? What do you think of Blue Yellow Queen? Should I put out more stuff on it? It is a deck that I absolutely love playing. I played it to death in OP04, really enjoyed it, and maybe I'll give it another try in OP06 because it will get some more support. I personally believe it will get more support. Some people might disagree. That's just a matter of preference. Right, guys, that's about it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. And until next time, guys, peace.